AITA for not accepting my brother and sister's relationship. My mom and dad had me very young. Their relationship ended when I was 2 and it did not end well. There were a lot of accusations, no one ever admitted to anything, and so they just sort of contentiously co-parented me. About 5 years after the relationship ended, my mom and dad both met their future spouses. Stepmom and stepdad were great for the co-parent relationship, and my parents weren't so concerned with what the other parent was doing. My parents would still fight, but it wasn't nearly as bad, more passive-aggressive instead of outright yelling. Eventually, my mom had a daughter with SD and my dad had a son with SM. I watched my siblings grow up since I was a decade older, spending more time with my sister because she lived with my mom. As a result, my brother and sister spent time together as kids. Not every weekend, but playing during my sports game or when they were invited to each other's birthday parties. When I was 15-16, my parents had a big fight that basically destroyed their relationship. I am still not sure what it was about because neither the parents, SM plus SD, will not talk about it, but they stopped talking to one another completely. I was gifted a car and started driving myself to and from. My brother and sister basically stopped seeing each other and my family shifted into 2 factions, and I have kept my lives separate from one another to keep the peace. There have been a few unavoidable events like graduations, but those have been few and cordial. Last week, my sister Grace dropped the bombshell that she met up with my brother Anthony through mutual friends. They remembered each other and exchanged numbers. They had been communicating and even started dating. She was telling me because they were interested in continuing the relationship and wanted my blessing. I didn't lie, I was pissed. I said that this was the worst idea ever. Not only do they share a sibling, but their parents hate each other, used to be in a sexual relationship, and have gone to great lengths to have no contact for the last 10+ years. She thinks that they are over it, but I was the one that lived through it. They are my parents, after all. I straight up told her the truth. This relationship was doomed and it needed to end before they got serious feelings. I know some will say that I am a butt, but I am not thinking of me. My parents will already be tied together forever because of me, which they have accepted. That was their decision. But will they be able to accept their other child choosing the child of their hated ex-spouse? I don't think so. Grace pretty much told me not to project my parents' relationship onto her. But these are her and Anthony's parents, too. Shouldn't they be thinking of them? By the way, Anthony has not responded to my texts or calls since I found out. AITV for not accepting my brother and sister's relationship. Update, just got off the phone Anthony, and he knows how the relationship will be perceived, especially by our dad. That is why he and Grace have been dating quietly to test the waters before agreeing to come out. Now that time has come and they are telling me first, then the parents next. Anthony was using me as a gauge for how our dad and Grace's mom will react, and obviously, he wasn't pleased with the result. I pretty much told him what I told Grace, that you have an uphill battle before anything has really happened. But I did tell him something that I didn't tell Grace. I told him that I would stand behind them because, yes, it is weird as hell, but at the end of the day no laws were being broken, so I was cool. I will let you know how my mom and dad take it. Now that things are decided, there is no way Grace won't tell my mom. Anthony will be slower to tell our dad. We will see how it plays out. Update number 2. It is World War II at my mom's house right now as she and Grace are epically fighting about her relationship with my brother. Neither of them would get on the phone with me when I called the house, but I could hear them yelling at one another. I think it is safe to say that my SD was not pleased when I was talking to him on the phone. He kept reiterating that I would need to call back at a better time. I called Anthony and told him he might want to get on to telling Dad, before my mom got her wits about her and called him with the news. I just drove to my dad's because he can be pretty short-sighted sometimes. I had gotten there after the call and my SM was just bustling about, kind of sighing to herself like she couldn't believe that my brother would walk into this drama without consulting her. But my dad was the most surprising. I asked how he was doing and he just said that it was something every young man would go through. He didn't really say more than that and I had to go, but I am pretty sure he was implying that every man would have to go through that mistake girl. But that mistake girl is my sister ... so there is that. They are teenagers. This is not the one true love of their lives. Had they thought for a half-second about attempting to navigate anything from family holidays to their birth of their children, they would look for someone else. What are your thoughts on this? Leave your opinions in the comments, and if she is TA or NTA. Personally, I think they should find someone else that isn't your half-sister's half-sibling even if they knew each other from young. They are teenagers. This is not the one true love of their lives. Had they thought for a half-second about attempting to navigate anything from family holidays to their birth of their children, they would look for someone else.